And it's official. The fights have been rearranged. New main event. Nate Diaz is going to be fighting Tony Ferguson. This was the fight that should have happened all along. I'm glad that it's happening. Both guys now don't have to get destroyed. They can put on a competitive fight, two legends going at it, all action, bring the same kind of energy to each other. This is the fighter that Nate Diaz wanted to fight initially, and Tony, of course, wants to fight Nate as well. And what a fitting last fight for Nate Diaz's UFC career. Just like someone pointed out to me on Twitter, Nate Diaz really seems like the main character of the UFC. Everything goes his way. It's like some kind of luck or something. I don't know what's happening, but the MMA gods favor Nate Diaz greatly. They find him worthy because whether it be the punch against Leon, the doctor stoppage against Jorge Masvidal, now him getting the opponent that he wanted, this is like all meant to be for Nate. And nobody better say anything bad about Tony Ferguson ever again. This is the third card he has saved. He saved that Las Vegas card back in the day when that event happened over there. He fought Kevin Lee on that card. He saved the card during the pandemic when he fought Justin Gaethje. And now he saved this card when Khamzat made a whole mess. He didn't need to do any of that, and he put himself at a disadvantage every single time. And he's at a disadvantage when he's fighting Nate Diaz because he's not preparing for a 5-round fight. I don't question his cardio. He has some of the best cardio we've ever seen before, but still, he didn't prepare for this. It doesn't even matter if Tony Ferguson loses 10 fights in a row. We can never say a bad thing about Tony ever. The next fight that has been rearranged is Khamzat Chimaev versus Kevin Holland. Man, that guy. It seems like he did all of this just to fight Kevin Holland. So he's losing out on a main event slot, perhaps even pay-per-view points. He could even be missing out on millions of dollars, hurt his own reputation, going up against an opponent where all he has is to lose. There's nothing to win here. Yeah, not the most intelligent move by Khamzat Chimaev. I don't think any fighter in history would have done what he did. And then the last fight, and this is the guy I feel very bad for. I hope they compensate him somehow. Jingliang is going to be fighting Daniel Rodriguez. The reason why it's against Jingliang is because Rodriguez weighed in at 180 and Lee weighed in at 170. They were fighting at two different weight. Because remember, Rodriguez was fighting at catch weight against Kevin Holland. So he's at a natural disadvantage, and that's a bummer. I hope if he loses, it shouldn't do anything against him. I hope because he took this fight that the UFC will do him a favor or compensate him in some way. Jingliang absolutely deserves it. He lost the most tonight. He lost the second most. Khamzat lost the most, but he purposely did it to himself. I have no idea why. He's like a masochist. Jingliang lost a superstar of an opponent in Tony Ferguson, the biggest opponent of his entire career. He's fighting a bigger opponent. He's at a disadvantage. And man, I'm still bummed out that he didn't flex his suit in front of everybody. We saw the suit, but I wish it was longer lived. So with all that, let's go right into the predictions of these fights. Now, if you want to know my other predictions for the other fights, I recommend you guys go and checking out my original prediction video that pretty much covers every single fight. If you want to know like what I think about the prelims and all that stuff, I have it all there. And I also talk about Johnny Walker versus Ian Cutelaba. And we're going to start with Jingliang versus Daniel Rodriguez. This is going to be a tough one for Jingliang. They're going to be about a weight class apart when they step in the octagon against each other. Daniel Rodriguez, boxing-wise, is more technical than Jingliang, even though Lee has more knockout power. He seems to be faster, but ultimately doesn't have as good a defense, and offensively, he throws the same kind of combinations. Against anybody he fights, it doesn't really matter what their style is. Right cross with a fade-off left hook. That repetition from Jingliang is going to get figured out by Daniel Rodriguez. I think Rodriguez's jab is going to be a major weapon against Jingliang, and that left straight specifically, they're both in the opposite stances, will potentially find home over and over again. The main thing that Lee is going to try to do is to track down and intercept Daniel Rodriguez's movement because the guy is always mobile. And I think Lee's left hook is going to be the main weapon he's going to be looking to catch Rodriguez with. But he's going to have to get him moving in that sort of direction. And the issue with this fight is if they start exchanging with each other, Rodriguez is going to have an advantage due to his weight. And not only that, if he shoots in some takedowns, Lee could be in a bit of trouble here. So ultimately, my prediction for this fight, I'm going to go Daniel Rodriguez, and I'm going to go by a decision win. I think it should be a competitive fight. I think they're going to catch each other here and there. But I think because of Daniel Rodriguez's overall skill set, backed behind his size, he's going to be able to pull through in a very close decision. And then we go to the co-main event, Khamzat Chimaev versus Kevin Holland. I am not going to lie, it's very hard for me to put away my bias in this one. I've always been a Khamzat fan, but it's going to be hard for me to not root for Kevin Holland. I'm not going to lie. That's not going to really cloud my analysis on this because the truth is the truth. Khamzat has a big advantage here. And the only way that Kevin Holland could really win this is by throwing in a right straight and just catches Khamzat, who doesn't move his head, before the takedowns come. But when Khamzat fought Jingliang, notice how he was able to get that punch up high and go under it. He had that high feint. Lee struck up higher, and that's how Khamzat got under him. He could probably do the same thing against Kevin Holland, who has one of the biggest wrestling weaknesses out of anybody Khamzat's ever fought before. So stylistically, this is tailor-made for Khamzat Chimaev. That sniper of a right straight or right uppercuts is ultimately like the only chance Kevin Holland has in this fight, and he needs to time it perfectly. There is an X factor though. Khamzat might come into this emotional. He might come into this angry, trying to prove a point, and might brawl it out with Kevin Holland. If he brawls with Kevin Holland, Khamzat's probably going to get knocked out. If Khamzat goes out there and wrestles and fights intelligently, Holland doesn't really have much of a chance. If Khamzat comes out there and tries to scrap, I would actually even favor Kevin Holland to win this. So ultimately, my prediction for this fight, I'm going to go with Khamzat Chimaev. I'm going to go by a dominant decision win. I think Holland's just way too tough. I mean, the guy is extremely durable. And then we go to the main event, and perhaps the best fight on the entire card, Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson. I am super excited about this one. This is a fight that a lot of fans dream of. Two guys with crazy volume, a lot of activity, had the same kind of energy in the fight, last for 5 rounds easily. Amazing grapplers if they start to scramble with each other. Awkward boxing styles, but ultimately work for both guys. Nate, I would have to say, is definitely a better boxer than Tony Ferguson. He doesn't throw a lot of variety with his attacks, especially from long range. He's more of a long range guy than Nick Diaz was, right? He's always throwing the jab, the 1-2 combo, the check right hook as he pulls away from your own punches. And that's really it when it comes to his distance boxing. Both these guys have pretty much the same reach. So they're going to be able to tag each other from the same distance the entire fight. But the thing about Tony Ferguson is he lunges in with punches a bit. And Nate can absolutely pull away from those and counter Tony with a check right hook. Now, it's ultimately going to come down to what stance is Tony going to stay in. Is he going to keep switching stances like he always does? Or is he going to try to settle in one? It changes the whole fight for Nate Diaz until he clinches. If he clinches up with Tony, that's where things get spicy. Because Nate Diaz's clinch work is better than almost everything else he does. He's extremely good at keeping the opponent on the fence, landing big body shots, big elbows up top, knees, just how he landed on Anthony Pettis as well. But Tony Ferguson is not someone to trifle with in the clinch for too long because his elbows are insane. Look what he did to Josh Thompson. That was like a horror scene. And we know Nate Diaz has a lot of scar tissue, man. One elbow from Tony and I wouldn't even be surprised if the doctors step in. This guy literally trains his elbows. I don't know if it works, but he cuts up everybody he hits with those. And Nate is like the easiest guy to cut. So there is a likely chance that Tony Ferguson wins this fight through a doctor stoppage. And it is 5 rounds. These guys are going to be going at it from start to finish. But the thing is, Tony Ferguson is going to have the power advantage. And that is something he didn't normally have in the lightweight division. A lot of those guys that he fought are just powerful strikers, from Justin Gaethje to Edson Barboza, to Anthony Pettis, to Charles Oliveira, etc. This is a time where he can trade shots with Nate Diaz and really start to deliver with some power. And leg kicks are going to be a big weapon for Tony, as Nate does not check those. It's hard to see this fight ever going to the ground unless Tony shoots in for a takedown, which he hasn't done for so many years, because I don't see Nate taking Tony down. That is tough to see happening. So ultimately, this might just be an overall striking match. So my prediction for this fight, I am going to go with Tony Ferguson, and I'm going to go by a 4th round TKO through a doctor stoppage. Even if Nate Diaz starts to tag Tony, which I can definitely see happening, a few of those cuts, man, can stop this fight. And it happened with Jorge Masvidal. Jorge landed a few elbows in there, and Nate was gashed up right away. Tony's going to be looking to do the exact same thing he has to. I mean, Tony has killer instinct. Like, if he finds a way to finish you off, whether it be with a doctor or whether it be him just knocking you out, he's going to go that route with full force. And the leg kicks are going to make Nate Diaz a lot more of a stationary target for the elbows to land, for the punches to land. And Tony's awkward style might prove it difficult for Nate Diaz's more attempt at a fundamental style to be difficult to handle with. So I'm going to go Tony Ferguson, and I'm going to go by that 4th round TKO through a doctor stoppage. It is a very close fight. This is super back and forth. Now, if they were in their primes, Tony destroys Nate Diaz. Absolutely destroys him. But the fact that he is much older now, he's definitely over the hill. He's coming off a knockout loss. There is a big chance Nate Diaz beats him. You know, if Nate catches him with a 1-2 and Tony gets rocked, this fight is over. Because there's going to be like 20 more punches coming his way, and there's no way Tony's going to be able to withstand all of that. So ultimately, the main event is much more of a competitive fight. I'm glad this one's happening. The Khamzat and Kevin Holland fight is going to have like an emotional attachment to it from the fans. I think a lot of people want to see Kevin Holland win. So at least there's going to be some sort of excitement about that. And D-Rod and Li Jingliang are standout guys, man. I don't want to see either of them lose, but it should be a pretty good scrap. And don't forget, if you are looking to bet on the fights, go to mybookie.ag and use that promo code Weasel. So leave in the comments below, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the fights and who do you think is going to win these? And I'll see you guys in the next video.